Hi, folks. I just wanted to say a few things about the dangers of a all-volunteer professional military. It seems it's becoming increasingly important in my mind. Seems like after Vietnam, people in the government uh, like the idea of ending the draft and having a professional volunteer military. Uh, Having American boys get their heads blown off and their pictures in the paper and a bunch of crying mothers generated a great deal of political backlash against wars. Politicians got thrown out of office pursuing those wars. The country was being torn apart by a very vigorous anti war movement. So it was considered politically wise not to send draftees overseas to fight these stupid things. The military was all too willing to agree with this. The fact is that in modern warfare, you need technically savvy, intelligent people to operate all these complicated technical kill machines that the military was buying the day of the semi-illiterate grunt riflemen recruited from the ghettos of America were over. Those kind of people can't even get into the military anymore. That's why they join gangs. Anyway, another difference is that in a conscripted army, the people in there view military service as an evil. It's something they've got to get through as fast as possible so they can go home to mama. A professional army, on the other hand, the people that volunteer for that view army life as a career. It's like becoming a dentist or a doctor. You even, in popular speech nowadays, you actually hear people referring to themselves proudly as, I'm a warrior. Like, being a professional killer is a noble way to make money. Professional career soldiers are just better motivated. There's far less likelihood of them throwing a grenade into their commanding officer's tent when things start going bad. They're hoping that someday they'll be in that commanding officer's tent. The American public, who had labored under the threat of possible conscription ever since the beginning of World War II, was more than happy to say, enough, let those the gung-ho jerk-offs of society, let them do the fighting. I'll just stay home and, smoke my pot and go to raves and things like that. But I think it was a mistake. I think it was a profoundly tragic mistake. A mistake that in the long run may spell the complete end of democracy in America. It's not surprising, a professional army has an entirely different set of motivations than a conscripted army that's there because it's forced to be there. For a professional army, war means an opportunity to get advancement. It means a bigger budget. It means excitement. It means promotions. It's a good thing. And I'm not surprised that since we got a professional army, we have been involved in one small war after another. They're easily winnable. Everybody gets to come home being a hero, but they're relentless. And as long as we have a professional army, I'm sure we will have more of them. So who are the people that join the professional army anyway? Well, they tend to be conservative. They tend to be religious, often evangelical. They tend to be white, mostly from the South. They vote Republican. What's happened is the Army has become just a very conservative, right-wing kind of organization. If you look at any film from the 1950s, when they show in the film an infantry squad fighting the Second World War, a conscripted infantry squad, it is a cross section of American life. You have an Italian, you have a Mexican, you have this kind of wimpy, bookish Jewish guy, all kinds of different people. If you looked at an infantry squad serving in Afghanistan, take a photograph of them, look at them today, it looks like the photograph of the football team of some small town in Texas out there in the Panhandle. The point I'm trying to make is that a conscripted army represents the people of the country and has the interests of the people of the country at heart, because they're the same thing. A professional army, on the other hand, represents a small minority of the people in this country. I often, I just think I laugh whenever I hear people, they're usually people who listen to Alex Jones on radio relentlessly, going on about how the American army is going to be used to take everybody's guns away. That somehow the American army is going to be flown into the cities of America and going house to house, collecting everybody's guns and shooting anybody that doesn't cooperate. It's complete nonsense. I can't think of an organization in this country that is less likely to obey such an order than the American Army. I would venture to say that the American Army has a higher percentage of NRA members in it than any other organization in the United States. Believe me, if the Army is knocking at your door, it's going to be because you didn't go to church enough, or you said something bad about the right-wing government that has been recently installed in the White House. The American Army is a well-organized, heavily armed, conservative force in this country and will remain so as long as it is a volunteer professional army. We need to get back to the idea that in a democracy, military service is a duty, an obligation that citizens have to preserve and protect that democracy. If we continue on down the road we're going, sooner or later, we are headed for a right-wing military coup and the establishment of some form of military dictatorship in this country. As for you non-violent liberal types who might be watching this, I would like to quote Mao Zedong. Political power comes from the barrel of a gun. Now, Mao is wrong about a lot of things, but he's not wrong about that. If the left continues its love affair with nonviolence, if it simply shrugs its shoulders and turns away from violence as a means of ensuring its existence, really, then we're doomed. Nonviolence works inside a framework of established law. Violence is the way in which that framework is built in the first place. I was at a cocktail party once, and there were a bunch of Buddhist ladies standing around going on about nonviolence. I was a little drunk, as I often am, and I went up to them and I said, well, how would nonviolence have stopped the Nazis from murdering all those Jews? And the ladies just looked at me, turned around, and walked away. Call me paranoid, but I think within 20, 30 years, when the shit hits the fan, and it will sooner or later, we're going to be faced with the kind of ruthless, repressive violence that will not give a damn whether you're laying in the road or, if you lay down in the road, that just makes them easier for you to be driven over by a tank. All right? as long as the left wing continues this love affair with nonviolence and gun control and the idea that moral power is going to overcome physical power, we are headed for disaster. The United States is going to end up looking like Chile under the dictatorship of General Pinochet. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope the left wing wakes up before too long here and starts getting armed. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents of the day. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good day. Bye.